Hey guys, so if you did not realize, it's nearly November already, and in November it is time for NaNoWriMo. I've never done NaNoWriMo before because I've always been in high school or not known about it or not had an idea, I guess. Maybe that's an excuse, but I've never done it before. But this year I decided that I'm going to give it a shot because I finish up all of my assignments for uni in early November, and then I have the rest of the time completely free. And I have an idea of a novel that I've been thinking about for a few years, so I've kind of got it fleshed out. And so I really want to hope to get some of that down. So the aim of NaNoWriMo, if you did not know, is to get 50,000 words, or which is basically a first draft of like your average, John Green length YA book, I guess, which is what I'm writing. My novel is YA. So today I just thought that I would show you how I kind of planned for a NaNoWriMo. I came to it a bit late, so I haven't really done as much Preptober, I guess, as it's called. But I do have a bullet journal that I've started up again to kind of organize all my ideas, and I have some nice cue cards, so I thought I would just show you that today. Sorry if it's shaky because I'm holding it in my hands, but this is my bullet journal so far. So the front of it is just stuff from a few years ago, but if you flip open to the little tab here, this is my spread for NaNoWriMo. I got this design from Boho Berry on Instagram and YouTube. She said she didn't like it that much, but I think it's absolutely adorable and I love it, so all credit to her. This I was originally planning on using as a little November planner, but then I made an entire monthly spread anyway, so I won't be using that. This is my favorite page. Again, I got it from Boho Berry. Basically, this green line here is my ultimate goal. That's how many words I have to get each day to get to 50,000. Because I do have some assignments and I came to it a little bit late, and there's a lot of research that I need to do for my book that I haven't done yet, I'm thinking I'm gonna hit this line as my more realistic goal, which gets me at 30,000. Once the months start, I'm gonna draw what I actually get in green. Sorry that the camera is so shaky. Once again, I said I'm holding this with my hand. This side, I'm going to color in each of these boxes, depending on the color. If I get under my goal, I hit my goal, or I go over my goal, and then I'll write down the words for that week. Yes, that's just nice. And then a little message down the bottom. Next we have the personality types from 16 personalities, some character names, my November outline. Boom, boom, boom. This is, I think that's meant to say embryo or embryo. I don't know. I don't really know. But I got it from, I can't remember what her name is, so I'll link it down below. But it's basically Dan Harmon, who wrote Rick and Morty and his idea, and I'm kind of using that. The rest of it is a little bit spoilers. That's some breakdowns. That's a website of book idea, a thing I got on Pinterest of just different ways of coming up with book titles. Again, this is me kind of breaking down a day-by-day base that I got, some important sites to research, conflict in my characters, and some good words that can be synonyms for what am I saying? Touchy-feely words, it says there. So that is my, oh, and then I have the stages of grief. I found that on a website and it kind of applies to my story, so I just wrote that, and I thought it was also a really good way to, then I'm going to draw boxes to break it down into the sections that Dan Harmon points out in his plot breakdown. The rest of my pages I was going to use to develop characters, but I have moved on to doing that somewhere else because I wanted a bit more space and I wanted to be able to stick it up on my wall, so I will show you that now. Another thing that I'm using to plan my novel is just some cue cards. So as you can see, I have just my novel written here, and then I'm going to hopefully stick all of these up on my wall so I can really plan out my novel. So I've got some character names here which I'm not going to show you because spoilers, and I also have cue cards that just have all the basic points that I think of that I want to include in my novel, and then I'm going to basically stick them up on my wall so I can order them how I want. I don't yet know if I'm going to write my novel in the order that it goes in. Just explaining the reason why I chose to put the points of my novel in a cue card like that. I kind of did a loose breakdown in my bullet journal as well, but the reason I did that is because my plot isn't completely fleshed out yet, and there's a lot of different things that could happen in my story, and they all depend on kind of the research that I do and whether some of them could logistically happen. So I chose to do them like that on the cue cards so that every different possible outcome I can write up, and then I can decide which ones I like, and I can stick them on my wall and kind of order them around, because in reality I probably won't be writing my novel in order, just because a lot of it needs research and a lot of it I won't be able to write, or I want to write now but won't end up being realistic. So I'm going to write all the things that I know would happen. It seems a little bit weird because I guess I won't really get to know the characters as well, but in later edits I guess I can flesh them out more, because I do have a basic idea of who I want them to be. My final thing is just this folder. I would show you, but there's nothing actually really in it yet. It's just this folder that I got from Muji with some gorgeous tabs. So basically I'm going to use this to put all my research in, and maybe if I draw up some bigger plot diagrams, not plot diagrams, character diagrams, I might make tabs for that and get some photos and inspiration, because my book does include a lot of photos and documents as well, not screenshots. What am I saying? Photocopies. So I'll be getting versions of those documents and putting them in this folder for reference, but also photos I take. Also, you know, any photos that I see that just give me inspiration, I'll be putting them in here. So I haven't actually done anything to that, but I'm excited to start. My plan for NaNoWriMo is to write, I think it's 1,667 words a day to hit 50,000. So I already have 2,800 words of my novel down, but I'm not going to be including that in the breakdown because I think that's a little bit cheating. Also, it's really bad and it needs editing, but it's the first chapter and I definitely want to keep exactly what happens in it, although I'm thinking of actually putting it in a different place in the novel, but I do like what happens in it and I want to keep it, but I'm not going to include it. For the first few days of the month, I have assignments that I really need to do, and then on the 7th I have something else due, but it's not too much. So I think that for the first few days I won't be hitting 1,666 every day, but then later in the month I have heaps of days with literally nothing to do, so I'm hoping that I can do more in those days and end up balancing it out. As I said, I'm planning on only hitting about 30,000 because there's so much research that I need to do that really takes quite a few months to build, because it involves going places and kind of observing things and things that I can't just do in a month. But I'm also planning on making daily videos, or at least definitely weekly updates, maybe daily videos, just depending on how much I actually do for NaNoWriMo on those days. But I will be making at least daily videos in relation to NaNoWriMo, and make sure to follow me on Instagram because I'm doing a few photo challenges on that related to NaNoWriMo, and then another one that's not related. And also on my Twitter, I'll have updates on that maybe throughout the day as I'm writing. Yeah, that's really all I have. I'm super, super excited. A little nervous because I keep doubting my plot and thinking it's not going to work, but we'll see. Maybe I'll come up with a different idea and start writing something completely else. Anyway, bye. See you then.